This is the Louie Tee Network.
Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
In the lab.
Who else could it be but me, Dormant? Louie Tee, welcome. You are in the lab, and of course, I'm your host, Louie. Thank you for joining me. Divisional round weekend of the postseason in the National Football League, and we're coming off of one of the most entertaining weekends of football, and I tell you this all the time. Wild Card Weekend, to me, there's no better weekend in all of the National Football League than Wild Card Weekend. And you can't tell me that you weren't entertained. Are you not entertained? Hell, we were entertained on Saturday night. Steelers, Bengals. You got Bengals fans still feeling the heat in that game, man. They still stunned. Hell of a game and very entertaining. A lot of different things and fallouts have happened from that game. Steelers are moving on. They can give a damn, but Brontez Burfict has been suspended 3 games next season, and you got the NFL Rules Committee looking at a number of things from that game, seeing how they can kind of clean some things up. And you got Pac-Man Jones, the cornerback formerly known as Pac-Man, Adam Jones, going off on Twitter rants and Instagram rants, and he's going on programs and just, it's all been great watching that whole saga unfold. But it's back to football now. We got some more matchups. We're down to the final 8 left in the postseason. All the teams off of the bye week coming in to defend their territory. So now we got all the big boys coming to play ball, and this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to start with the Saturday matchups. In New England, in Foxborough, we go to take a look at the number 2 seed New England Patriots, who finished up the season rough. We'll talk about them a little bit later on. Taking on the Chiefs, the number 5 seed in the AFC playoffs. And to me, it's really simple. Let's break this game down quickly. For the Chiefs, you come in riding an 11-game winning streak, the hottest team in the postseason right now. You feel good about your demolition of the Houston Texans last week, 30-0. But you gotta play better than that, okay? It's funny to say you gotta play better when you created 5 turnovers last week. You shut a team out and you looked dominant, but you should have won that game 50-0. The Texans were horrible last week, and you're not going to get that same game. And I don't have to tell you that. It's not rocket science. You're playing Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, for God's sake. So I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but the bottom line is you got to play better. You can't miss opportunities offensively. You're not good enough offensively. And with Jeremy Maclin being injured, and he may play, he's not going to be anywhere near effective in this football game. I'm looking at him as a scratch. Whether he plays or he doesn't, he's a scratch. Whether he's on the field or he's in a jogging suit on the sidelines, he is not going to be a factor in this game. He's not healthy enough. So I look at the offense and I said, you just took away the most explosive weapon that you had offensively. How are you going to muster 24 points in this game, which is probably going to take the win, unless the defense goes out and stalls Brady, gets to him, forces the issue, forces some turnovers, and keeps this score down, which is, I think, your best possible chance of winning this football game. And that's where we're going to start with the Chiefs. You got to go out and you got to rattle Brady's cage. He's been really skittish of late because the offensive line in front of him is really porous. They've had musical chairs going on as far as the offensive line is concerned. Haven't really had any continuity of any kind. A lot of injuries along that offensive front. You have to take it to Tom Brady like the Dolphins did in Week 17. They lost 4 out of their final 6 games because they could not protect Tom Brady. They're getting some weapons back. Who cares? Can't get the football to those guys if you're getting pressure on Tom Brady before he can set up shop and get rid of the football. So I think it is imperative for the Chiefs up front to win one-on-one matchups and even come with some blitz packages to frustrate them. Look, we've seen this Chiefs team dominate the Patriots before. I thought that their win over the Patriots last year on a Monday night was probably the most single-handedly dominant effort I've seen out of any team last season. And I thought that win prompted the Patriots to turn some things around, to reevaluate themselves, and go on the Super Bowl run that they ultimately did last season. So the Chiefs know how to play Tom Brady. They know that they can get to him. It's a matter of going out and executing. And if they can do that, they've got as good as any chance of winning this football game and moving on to the AFC Championship game. Now, offensively, you got to take advantage of every single opportunity that comes your way. First and foremost, can't turn it over. And I know you only had 1 turnover last week with Alex Smith. That can't happen. This week, you got to stay clean, which is something that the Chiefs normally do. They need to do that this week. Another thing for the Chiefs, You can't miss opportunities. Albert Wilson streaking down the field wide open for a touchdown. Gotta hit him. If you're Alex Smith, can't have the hands on the head after that play. Gotta hit him in stride. Let him walk in the end zone, get those 7 points. When you get in the red zone, you gotta cash in and get 7. Cairo Santos can't be the MVP of this game. If he is, and this turns into another Cincinnati Bengals game, like he did earlier in the season when he kicked 7 field goals to account for all 21 of your points, you're going to lose this football game. You get the football in the end zone like you did against the Texans last week, and you should be just fine. If you stall out, you got to kick a bunch of field goals, you're going to lose. You know the mantra, you know the motto, but for those of you who don't, field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. You kick field goals and settle for them instead of getting in the end zone, Tom Brady is going to make you pay. The Minnesota Vikings could have won the game last week had they gotten in the end zone. They had to settle for 3 Blair Walsh field goals, couldn't make the 4th one. If just one of those field goals is a touchdown, they win the football game. Instead, they opted for field goals, they lost the football game. Make these opportunities count. You get an opportunity to score a touchdown, get in the end zone and continue to win special teams. The Chiefs have been outstanding on special teams since Andy Reid has taken over as their head coach. The Patriots haven't been great on special teams this season. Okay, we saw the Philadelphia Eagle game where they gave up a couple of big plays on special teams, a block punt, a punt return for a touchdown. They can be susceptible to giving up some chunk plays and some big plays on special teams. If you're the Chiefs, you look to exploit the New England Patriots on special teams. You've got to win 2 out of 3 phases of the game in order to win this football game. If you can win special teams and win either defense or offense, you got a legitimate shot at walking out of Foxborough with a W and heading on to the AFC Championship game. If you're the New England Patriots, it's been a tumultuous week. I'm not used to this much noise and this much chatter coming out of New England on a bye week. You got Chandler Jones in the synthetic weed situation. You got Rob Gronkowski getting a needle to the knee because his knee isn't where it needs to be. You got Bill Belichick with a shiner at the press conference. Probably got hit in the eye with a football. If I had to guess and give you some analysis on what happened to his eye, I'd guess he got hit in the eye with a football at practice. Wasn't looking, ball hit him in the face, and that's how he got a black eye. But he's not talking as you would expect, and there's just a lot more going on than I'm comfortable with out of New England. I mean, how often is it that we have a bye week in New England, in Foxborough, and we got this much noise coming out of New England? It's uncommon. I'm not comfortable with the way they finished up the season, losing 4 out of their final 6 games. I'm not comfortable with all the injuries that they've had throughout the course of the season, but they're getting Edelman back. Gronkowski, despite getting an injection to his knee, is going to play. They've got enough stuff to be effective. Now the question is, can you protect Tom Brady up front? That's what it all boils down to. If you can protect Brady, you got a shot. If you don't protect Tom Brady, you're going to have problems in this football game because the Chiefs can get after Tom Brady, and they've got the guys in the secondary, Eric Berry, Marcus Peters, among others, Sean Smith, that can make plays and make you pay for errant throws. If you're not careful, you can turn it over 2 or 3 times in this ball game and easily lose to a hot Kansas City Chiefs team. The running game has been non-existent with all the injuries to that position. I see Brady throwing it 45, maybe even 50 times in this game if need be, depending on how the time of possession rolls in this football game. That means that you're going to have to protect. If he's going to sling it 45 or 50 times, that means you're going to have to protect Brady and allow him to get the football out of his hands. As much as I want to pick Kansas City, Chiefs, because of all of the noise coming out of Foxborough that I'm not accustomed to, because of how they finished the season up, because of how hot this team is, I just don't see Kansas City having enough weapons. They haven't been in this position before as a football team. This is uncharted territory for the Chiefs. I don't like the fact that Jeremy Maclin is injured, and I don't know where you're going to get your offensive points from. I don't know how you're going to be able to generate the 24 points that it's going to take to win this game. If you can hold the Patriots on a 20, I guarantee you that the Kansas City Chiefs will win this football game. If this game is in the teens, Chiefs win. But how do you get to 24? Without Jeremy Maclin and all you having to have on the offensive side is Travis Kelce, how are you getting 24 points? Are the special teams going to provide you with a touchdown or 2? If so, then you got a legitimate shot at winning this football game. But if not, and you got to rely on the offense to generate 24 points, I just don't know if you're good enough offensively with what you have healthy on the football field to get that done versus a Patriots team that we know, even on one of their bad days, can still generate 24 points. And yeah, they've been struggling of late, and it hasn't been pretty. but this is still Tom Brady. It's still Bill Belichick. And as long as the B&B winning factory are still churning out W's at the alarming rate that they have been, I can't go against them against a very, very unexperienced Kansas City Chiefs postseason football team. I'm taking Brady, I'm taking Belichick, I'm taking the Patriots at home over the Kansas City Chiefs, 27-17. You move on to the nightcap on Saturday. The Green Bay Packers, the number 5 seed in the NFC playoffs, taking on the number 2 seeded Arizona Cardinals. This one is going to be quick, painless, and it's the Packers returning to the scene of the crime. They got to pull down all the caution tape. They got to actually wipe up all the chalk that was left where their shadow was from when they got laid down in week number 16, where they were thoroughly handled by the Arizona Cardinals 38-8. It was not pretty. And now they got to go relive all of the crime scene photos that were left behind, including some scooping scores on some fumbles and some sacks. Rodgers was laid down 9 times in that football game. And to be honest with you, I don't see much changing in this game. I'm not really going to give you a lot of analysis here because I frankly don't see the Packers having a shot. We want to think that they got their mojo back versus the Washington Redskins, but to be honest with you, the Redskins defensively are a bad football team that got hot at the end of the season, and the Packers got well off of a bad Washington Redskins defense. They're not going to be able to run the football with the same amount of consistency or effectiveness against this Arizona Cardinals stingy defense on the road. They're not going to be able to separate from corners, and the Redskins don't play a lot of man-to-man coverage. They aren't as adept at playing man-to-man press coverage as the Cardinals are, and they're going to get in the face of these Green Bay Packer receivers and challenge them like they did in the first matchup. And Aaron Rodgers is going to have a bunch of places to go with the football. I don't see them being able to speed up tempo and change tempos and have that fluster a veteran Arizona Cardinals football team. I just don't like this matchup for the Packers. Devontae Adams, not that he's been a difference maker all season long. Ask Packers fans, they'll tell you he hasn't done a damn thing. Well, he did have a nice game against the Redskins, but he got injured and it doesn't look like he's going to play, which is one less option for Rodgers to get the football to on a team that was already starving for options for Rodgers to get the football to. I don't like this offensive line, and maybe they get their left tackle back. It'd be great if they could have him back for this football game and get all hands on deck, but I don't know if David Bakhtiari is going to be able to play in this game or not. And this offensive line has been shuffling around. I thought they did a really admirable job of protecting Aaron Rodgers after that first couple of drives and that safety that they gave up. They didn't give up another sack or any pressure for that matter in the game. They ran block well. It's not going to happen against Arizona. It's a pipe dream if you think they're going to waltz into Arizona and all of a sudden they're well now and they're going to go in and steamroll a really balanced Arizona Cardinals team. I see the Cardinals licking their lips, licking their chops at the prospects of getting a second chance at a Packers team that they diced up, decimated, and ate for lunch, and they're going to do it again, this time for dinner. They're going to have fun in the desert against this Green Bay Packers team. I don't think this game's going to be very close. I see if the Packers come within 3 scores, they lose by anything less than 17, I'm going to give them a standing ovation. I'm going to give them a standing ovation. Because I expect Arizona to come in and dominate. The Packers defensively, I watched the film. They gave up a lot of plays to the Redskins. Redskins weren't able to take advantage of them. There were opportunities there for plays to be made, and a young, inexperienced playoff quarterback in Kirk Cousins simply didn't see some matchups and some opportunities to take advantage of a porous Packers defense. I expect Carson Palmer and all those weapons in Arizona to have a field day against the Green Bay Packers. I think this one's going to be a laugher. Arizona Cardinals 34, the Green Bay Packers 13. I don't think this one is close, and I think the Arizona Cardinals go into the NFC Championship game with a bunch of momentum and confidence after they slay the Packers once again for the second time in a month. Those are your Saturday matchups in the divisional round of the postseason. If it happens in the National Football League, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down everything. And you come back and join me. We're going to break down those Sunday matchups in divisional round weekend. See you in a little bit. Have a good one.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie Tee, be sure to follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom, or you can like, the Facebook page at In the Lab Room. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and at In the Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.
Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.